She told me straight. You don't need to know what goes on during a girl's trip. Then she added, that's why you're blocked until I get back. I didn't say a word, but when she returned, expecting me to be there waiting with open arms at the airport, she found someone else instead. I'm a private investigator. It's a line of work that rewires your brain. You start seeing the world in layers, surface truths, and what lies beneath. You stop listening to words and start watching patterns, what people do, what they don't, and what they're trying to hide. Jessica, my girlfriend of 3 years, used to tease me, saying the job made me paranoid. The reality? It didn't make me cautious enough. I thought what we had was the exception, a place where I could set aside the mask, the suspicion, the constant need to analyze. Our relationship was supposed to be untouched by the shadows of my work. I saw us as equals, teammates. We shared a home I'd paid for through 10 years of risk-filled nights and long hours. We had plans, a rhythm, a future, and I believed in her. In my world, trust isn't just rare, it's priceless. I'd given all of mine to her without reservation. The cracks appeared as they so often do with a trip. A 5-day girls-only getaway to Las Vegas. Her travel companions? Lauren, always chasing the next thrill after 2 failed marriages. Becca, who trailed Lauren like a shadow. And Chloe, the quiet observer who never said much but missed nothing. I never liked them. Loud, shallow, and constantly pushing Jessica to relive her so-called glory days, back before, in their words, she settled down with someone boring and reliable like me. A couple of days before they left, I was helping Jessica pack. Casually, I asked for her flight info and the hotel name, standard stuff just in case something happened. She turned to me with a strange, almost steely expression. "You don't need that," she said. I paused. "Why not?" "I just want to know where you'll be." She folded her arms, voice going icy. "It's a girls' trip, Mark. The whole idea is to escape from everything, including you. You don't need to know what happens in Vegas. That's why I'm blocking you until I'm back." I stared at her. This wasn't a request for privacy. It was a full blackout, a wall thrown up between her world and ours. I didn't argue, didn't raise my voice. In my profession, when someone builds a wall, you don't waste time trying to break it down. You look for the hidden doors. My instincts took over. The boyfriend stepped aside. The investigator stepped in. "All right," I said calmly. "Have a great trip." Her confident expression faltered, if only for a moment. Confusion flickered in her eyes. She'd braced for a fight, wanted one. A fight would have given her justification. My smooth response left her with nothing. The next morning, I drove her to the airport. She was all smiles, practically buzzing with excitement. Before stepping out, she leaned in with a playful grin. "Don't miss me too much," she said. "I'll call when I land and unblock you." "I won't," I replied. She laughed, thinking I was joking. I watched her walk away, suitcase trailing behind her. But I didn't head home. I went straight to my office. The case had already begun. Jessica thought she was going dark for 5 days. What she didn't know was that I was about to turn the floodlights on. She thought I'd be the one waiting when she came back. In a sense, I was. Just not in the way she expected. Update number 1. It's been a week since Jessica left. For her, it's been all clubs, selfies, and whispered secrets. For me, it's been a quiet week of digging, my specialty. First move? I traced the car that picked up her friends that morning. Lauren had uploaded a photo of the 4 of them outside her house, ready to hit the road. I ran the license plate, and that was just the beginning. A luxury SUV sat parked in the background, expensive, sleek, and unmistakably top tier. The license plate traced back to a man named Adam Cole. A brief investigation showed he wasn't just anybody. Cole held a senior partner position at a prominent investment firm based in the city. He also had a wife and 2 young children. That caught my attention. Jessica had claimed they were traveling low budget. She said they'd booked tickets on a discount airline. But that story quickly unraveled. I searched flight records for departures to Las Vegas that day. None of the names, Jessica's or her friends, appeared on any commercial flight manifest. Instead, a corporate jet, registered to Adam Cole's firm, had filed a flight plan from our city to Vegas earlier that same morning. The list of passengers wasn't publicly accessible, but I didn't need to see it. The pieces were falling into place. The act of being blocked wasn't a hindrance. It was a gift in disguise. It confirmed what I had started to suspect. She believed cutting off my access would blind me to the truth. Instead, it gave me license to stop pretending. I no longer had to play the role of the trusting partner. Her friends, on the other hand, were reckless. They didn't hide their tracks nearly as well. Becca, ever the follower, kept her social media open to the world. She was a gold mine of updates. All week, she uploaded post after post, carefully curated photos and videos that painted a picture of an innocent girl's getaway. Shots of the four of them sipping cocktails poolside, a video clip of them dancing in a packed nightclub, selfies taken in front of iconic casino landmarks. But amateur liars always slip up. In one of Becca's selfies, the mirrored surface of her sunglasses betrayed more than she intended. A man's silhouette was reflected, seated across from them at a private cabana. In a nightclub video, I noticed Lauren cozying up, laughing, and leaning into a man who was clearly not her ex-husband. But the most damning evidence came from Chloe. She uploaded a group photo taken at an upscale restaurant. The four women posed with practiced smiles, but what mattered was behind them. A bold, abstract painting hung on the wall. A quick reverse image search identified the artwork. It was a well-known piece, displayed in the exclusive private dining area of a high-roller suite at the Bellagio. This wasn't a public space. That suite was only available to the casino's elite clientele. I started making calls. I've got contacts in Las Vegas, people who owe me favors, people who can confirm what needs confirming. A friend in casino security pulled the records for me. The suite was registered to Adam Cole. He was staying there the entire week, entertaining clients. 4 female guests were listed on the internal logs. Jessica was one of them. This wasn't a harmless vacation with her friends. It was a curated event, a paid escape, arranged for powerful men and their companions. Jessica wasn't tagging along on a casual getaway. She was part of the experience, an accessory to a married man and his business circle. Every part of it, the secrecy, the social media filters, the digital block, was a smokescreen to keep me from seeing the truth. And then came the blow that hit the hardest. In the background of another one of Becca's videos, Jessica appeared again. She was smiling, holding a drink, and talking to a man. His face was turned slightly away, blurred by motion, but something about him felt unsettlingly familiar. I clipped the audio, cleaned it, enhanced the quality, and fed it into a voice recognition program I use for sensitive work. It was a gamble, but one I had to take. The analysis came back. The voice belonged to Scott, Jessica's ex-fiancé, the man she'd sworn she hated, the man she said had betrayed her, shattered her trust, and left emotional scars. She'd painted him as the villain in every story, and yet there he was, laughing with her in a high-end Vegas suite. He wasn't a random guest. He was a client of Adam Cole. Everything unraveled at once. The trip was a lie, a complicated, deliberate, and humiliating fabrication. Jessica hadn't just excluded me from a vacation. She'd deceived me while immersing herself in a world of luxury, deceit, and infidelity. One man paid for the experience, another man, her ex, enjoyed her company, and all the while she pretended she was on a getaway with friends. There was only one logical next step. This wasn't something to be solved with a calm conversation or a quiet confrontation. It demanded action, sharp, unmistakable, and impossible to ignore, something that couldn't be talked away. I began with Adam Cole's wife, Catherine. A background search painted a picture of a woman completely removed from her husband's double life. She was a respected pediatrician, a mother. By all appearances, she was unaware of the games her husband played during his business trips. But I didn't contact her. That wasn't my role to play. I assembled a clean, comprehensive digital dossier. Everything from the private jet's itinerary to the confirmation for the hotel suite, plus a collection of social media snapshots, including those that captured her husband alongside Lauren. I forwarded it all to a well-respected divorce lawyer based in her city, attaching an unsigned note that read, "You might want to pass this along to your client, Catherine Cole. Looks like her husband's business trips are more adventurous than she realizes." Then I turned my attention to Scott, the former fiancé. A real estate developer by profession, he was also tangled up in an ugly legal squabble with his previous business associates, as confirmed by court documents. I contacted a journalist friend of mine, someone with a nose for stories like this, and gave him an anonymous lead. "Tip for you," I wrote. "There's a developer funding luxury trips to Vegas and a flashy lifestyle with money that isn't his." I dropped Scott's name along with a few well-placed breadcrumbs, information that was all public if you knew where to dig. The final piece of my plan was preparing for Jessica's return. She was due to fly in Sunday afternoon. A few days before, she'd borrowed a friend's phone to send me a light, breezy message. "Having a blast. Can't wait to see you. Pick me up at 3 p.m. Sunday. I'll unblock you once I'm on the plane." I responded with a simple, "Okay." She thought I'd be there. She imagined a warm welcome, a kiss, maybe a quiet drive where she'd feed me a carefully curated version of her adventures. What she didn't expect, what she couldn't imagine, was who'd actually be waiting for her. It took 2 full days of relentless digging, but I tracked down the one person with more reason than me to stand at that terminal. Emily, Scott's live-in girlfriend, a school teacher. She had no idea he was in Vegas. According to him, he'd gone on a no-service wellness retreat in Arizona. Calling her was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I introduced myself, told her what I had uncovered. Then I sent her the evidence, the voice recordings, the photos, the hotel booking details, everything. There was a long pause. Silence. Then she broke down. The tears were real, but they didn't last long. They gave way to a quiet fury that mirrored my own. I told her about Jessica's flight, the exact time and terminal. Then I made her an offer. "She's expecting to see me there," I said. "But I think it should be you she sees first." Emily didn't hesitate. She agreed. And just like that, everything was in motion. The cast was assembled, the clock ticking. Jessica's flight was less than a day away. She thought she was coming home to a hero's welcome. Instead, she was walking straight into her own reckoning. Update 2. The last few days unraveled with more intensity and more satisfaction than I could have ever dreamed. The airport scene wasn't just a confrontation. It was a full-scale detonation, and I was the one who lit the fuse, from miles away. No, I wasn't there in person. I stayed home, eyes glued to my laptop, watching everything unfold via a live video stream. I'd hired a private security contractor, someone posing as a limo driver. He waited at arrivals, holding a sign with a decoy name while his phone camera streamed directly to me. Jessica's flight touched down right on schedule. I watched as she and her trio of friends strolled through the terminal, sun-kissed, laughing, arms loaded with shopping bags. Jessica had her phone in hand, beaming. She was probably texting me, telling me she'd landed, expecting to see my car waiting out front. They moved through the automatic doors into the arrivals hall. That's when I saw Emily. She stood there, poised, still, unshaken, holding a large professional poster board. On it was a crisp, high-resolution image I'd secured through my contact at the casino. Jessica and Scott side by side at a blackjack table in the high roller lounge. His arm was casually draped around her shoulders, intimate, obvious. Jessica spotted Emily instantly. The grin vanished. Her body froze. Her face lost all color. Her friends, caught mid-joke, bumped into her, then followed her gaze. From Emily. to the poster. And just like that, the laughter stopped. Emily never raised her voice. She didn't need to. She didn't utter a sound. She simply stood still, letting the photograph speak volumes. The bustling arrivals terminal of a major airport hushed around them, as if someone had pressed pause on the chaos. A pocket of stillness and charged emotion formed in the crowd. Curious travelers slowed, stared, and began pulling out their phones. Jessica struggled to collect herself. She turned and began to walk off, feigning ignorance of Emily's presence. But Emily wasn't caught off guard. She stepped forward, her voice unwavering and sharp, cutting through the din with clarity meant for an audience. "Scott sends his regrets," she said, loud enough for everyone nearby. "He couldn't make it to welcome you home. He's a bit busy right now, explaining this photo to me." Jessica's friends, stunned into silence, looked at her with wide eyes. The realization hit them like a wave. They had been complicit, and now the reckoning was upon them. Just then, a sharply dressed man emerged from the crowd. He was the process server I had retained. Without hesitation, he approached Jessica. "Jessica Miller?" he asked, his voice calm but carrying enough weight to silence the last whispers. She nodded, frozen in place. "You've been served," he said, handing over a thick envelope. Inside was her eviction notice. She had 30 days to collect her things and vacate my property. Also enclosed, a restraining order. She was now legally barred from contacting me or approaching my home or workplace. The weight of the public spectacle, coupled with the finality of the legal documents, broke her. Her luggage slipped from her hands. She buried her face and began to cry. Not one of her friends stepped forward to comfort her. Instead, they grabbed their own things and melted into the crowd, fleeing like rats abandoning a ship taking on water. They didn't want any part of the disaster they had helped engineer. My private security team caught it all on video. The same woman who had confidently cast me aside just days ago was now collapsed on the floor of an airport, surrounded by designer shopping bags and her own ruin. Alone. Since that day, the consequences have been swift and merciless. Catherine, Adam Cole's wife, didn't wait. The day after her attorney received the evidence, she filed for divorce. She also moved quickly to secure their shared assets, liquidating a significant amount and placing it in a trust for their children, a move allowed by their prenup in cases of adultery. Adam now faces a brutal, high-profile divorce. His professional life is also under scrutiny. His firm is assessing his future with them, given how damaging the scandal is to their image of family values. Lauren, who had orchestrated the trip, is named in the divorce proceedings. Scott, once my fiancé, is mired in his own disaster. A journalist I tipped off published a piece exposing his shady business dealings. His partners are suing him, and his public reputation is in ruins. Emily has left him, and with my support, she is preparing to take legal action against him for financial misconduct. As for Jessica, her life is a wreckage. She's lost her boyfriend, her home, and her friends. With nowhere else to turn, she called her parents to pick her up from the airport. I can only imagine how that conversation went. She's now back in her childhood home, living in the guest room, a 30-year-old woman starting from nothing. She has tried to reach me, of course. New phone numbers, fake email addresses. She's thrown everything at the wall. I've remained silent. My lawyer responded instead, sending a cease and desist letter that reminded her of the restraining order. Her former friends have reached out too, each with a different excuse, each insisting they had no idea that Jessica had misled them. I've ignored them all. They're irrelevant now. In the days following her return, I began the process of wiping her from my life completely. A moving company boxed up her belongings and shipped them to her parents' house. I changed my number. I deleted my social media. As far as she's concerned, I've vanished. She thought it was all just a game, an arrangement where she could keep the comfort and security I gave her while indulging in a secret life behind my back. But what she never understood was this. In my world, there are no games. There are no illusions left, only facts, proof, and the outcomes they bring. She gave me 5 days of silence. I gave her a lifetime of it. This is the final chapter. 6 months have passed since that moment at the airport. Not only has the dust settled, it's been cleared away completely, leaving behind a fresh start. I'm writing this last update not to celebrate, but to bring closure. This is how the final, quiet fallout of a very loud series of mistakes played out. Life moved on, just not in the way I imagined. Once the satisfaction of revenge faded, it left behind a hollow echo. Yes, I won. But the victory rang empty. I'd spent so long hunting for betrayal in people that I'd forgotten how to search for what's good in them. That changed because of Emily, Scott's ex. After everything happened at the airport, we kept in touch. Both of us had been deceived by the same web of lies, and in that mutual betrayal we found an odd kind of comfort. We started meeting up, first for coffee, then for dinners. We didn't talk about the past. We talked about our work, our families, our hopes. And slowly, I got to know someone honest, warm, quick-witted, and resilient. We're seeing each other now. It's slow, intentional, grounded in complete truth, and it's the most genuine relationship I've ever known. As for the people who caused all the damage, they've each met consequences that fit. Adam Cole's marriage is officially over. The divorce was brutal. Catherine, backed by the evidence I gave her, claimed everything the law allowed. He lost the house, a huge share of his assets, and his job at the firm. His name? In ruins. Lauren, who played her part in that disaster, has become untouchable. The men in her social circle, once so eager to impress, now see her as a ticking time bomb. She's been discarded. Scott's legal troubles only worsened. That article exposing his shady business triggered an investigation. Lawsuits followed. Criminal charges may be next. His empire? Gone. And Jessica. Her story didn't explode like the others. It faded, and somehow that makes it even sadder. She moved back in with her parents for months. Eventually, she found a job and managed to get her own place, a small apartment. She's starting over, but she's doing it alone. Her friends never returned. Her reputation never healed. 2 months ago, I received one last message from her, through my lawyer. It was a handwritten letter. Long, carefully composed. She didn't offer excuses. She didn't ask me to take her back. She just told the truth. She said the airport moment was the most humiliating day of her life. But it was also the moment she finally saw herself clearly. Someone who chased validation instead of cherishing love. She told me she was in therapy now, trying to become a version of herself she could finally respect. She ended it by saying she didn't expect forgiveness, but she truly regretted what she'd done. And for the first time, I didn't feel rage or triumph. I just felt closure. I believe she meant every word. But I also believe some things, once shattered, can't be repaired. This was never just about vengeance. It was about confronting people who had built their lives on deception, forcing them to face reality, even for a single moment. That airport was their stage. And when the masks fell, the truth wasn't pretty. I don't think about them anymore. My life is full now. I have someone I trust, a business I've built with integrity, a calm I haven't known in years. I still see the world in layers. But now, I'm finally able to notice the good alongside the bad. Jessica thought cutting me off for 5 days would leave me lost. She didn't realize she was giving me time to fortify my life, to build a barrier strong enough to keep her kind of destruction out for good. And on this side of that wall, it's quiet, it's peaceful, and above all else, it's real.